Well, hello there, dead and lovely listeners, and welcome to a brand new installment of the greatest horror movie review podcast in this world and beyond. Why, it's dead and lovely here with the host with the most. It is me, Uncle Ben.
Pew, 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 pew.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And it's me, Hollywood Steve, from beyond.
Is those like laser noises?
Yeah, because beyond there's lasers.
And they go pew, pew, pew.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
typically.
if you had a laser, wouldn't you prefer it to make that noise than like zing or whatever?
Yeah, zang, zang.
Zang, zang.
Zang, zang, zang.
Or the sound it made in Contra, which was like,
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, like the flamethrower thing in Contra made that weird kind of thing. An unsatisfying laser sound.
Yeah.
I wish there was like closed captions on those old video games and it would just say unsatisfying laser sound like every time. Although I will say the spread gun did have an appealing sound.
Yeah.
It had that kind of splat sort of sound to it.
Contra was fun.
Fuck yeah. Contra was hard as balls though.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
The last time I beat it was when I was in Russia.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we had to stay in for like 3 days because it was a holiday and like Russians get really drunk and Russians are pretty nationalistic, so Americans can get hassled. So we just had to stay inside for 3 days, and normally missionaries don't get to play video games, but we asked our mission president because we were like, we're just gonna be inside, we can't do anything for 3 days. One of the guys had bought this like black market NES Famicom type. It played all sorts of games on these weird shaped cartridges that had like 60 games on them.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. And just unlicensed as fuck.
Yeah, and so we just played a bunch of Contra, and we beat it the first day, and then after that, we just started playing all the other games, and they all sucked. They were all just weird stuff you'd never even heard of.
Bunch of D-list games and Contra. It makes sense you were able to do that because in America, Contra beats you.
That's true.
In Mother Russia, you beat Contra.
That's true.
I kind of sounded more like Master Splinter than a Russian person.
Skipping stones.
Oh man, I laugh about the Ninja Turtles coming out of their shell tour, specifically Splinter's masterpiece, Skipping Stones. Oh dude, Skipping Stones gets me laughing every time.
The only reason for the coming out of their shells tour was because the shells were really hot.
They had to.
So they had to take the shells off.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, everybody's going to notice it. Let's call amazing attention to it by naming the tour coming out of our shells. So then people will have an answer to, wait, why don't they have shells?
Do you think there was all sorts of like horrible incidences of little kids across the country being like, Mom, I found the turtle. Check it out. He's coming out of his shell. And they've like ripped it apart.
Oh no.
No, he's just like the turtles, Mom. I sure hope not.
Oh, Timmy.
Did you ever watch the behind the scenes thing where it was like, of course it was all like staged and everything, but it was the turtles like talking about their equipment and their instruments and stuff?
Yes.
Dude, Donatello's talking about his keyboard with triple thickness keys.
Triple thickness because they got those huge ass fingers.
Yeah, they got like 3 big ass fingers. So yeah,
just like a turtle.
Special made with triple thickness keys. Yeah, what the hell? Turtles don't have fingers. In reality, a turtle man would be horrifying. Absolutely horrifying.
It would look more like Slash, the Ninja Turtle, where it was like, oh God, I don't want to see that.
They'd come up out of that toxic ooze and be like, I should not live. Kill me. Yeah, like Goldblum at the end of The Fly.
Yeah.
Kill me.
Yes. You could just make a movie called The Turtle and it would be The Fly. Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much that, man. How you been this week, Steve?
Good. Been having a good week.
I've been having a busy week. Good God.
Me too, yeah.
I am a tired boy.
Yeah, we had 2 videos, well, 4 videos technically come out last week. I was busy with editing, and then I was working on something else, another project.
Oh.
Yeah, and then we are having to do 2 episodes today. So
double header.
Yeah, so I was doing all the prep for both episodes. So it was a pretty busy week, but I didn't really notice it. Like, it really just kind of flew by.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah, things have just been getting super hectic over here where we're getting ready to put the house on the market and packing stuff, putting it in storage and all that kind of jazz, and just generally trying to make the house look more presentable.
Boring.
Yeah, for any gentlemen callers that might be tempted to come and take place in my residence.
You had 7 gentlemen callers in one day.
That's right. That's right. Just hoeing it up hard. Trying to sell this house. Just trying to hoe my house out.
Hoeing it up.
With gentlemen callers.
Yeah.
I don't know where all
That was a Glass Menagerie reference I was making, but when you said hoeing it up, I thought like, man, if that had been in the Glass Menagerie, just like when she's talking about all the suitors coming over, if it just said hoeing it up projected in the back.
Would have been a better story.
Yeah.
I read that in college, and like seriously, the only thing I think I really remember from it is how funny I think the phrase gentleman callers is.
It's a very funny phrase.
It always makes me laugh. I just remember fucking hating that book. That was
Really?
so boring.
Nah,
man.
I like it. Have you seen it acted out?
No.
It's pretty great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right then. All right. But yeah, things have been really fucking hectic around here. Had a big ass skank banger show last night too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Played down at Jackson Terminal. Never
How was that?
Played there before. It was great. It's
Awesome.
always like a little nerve wracking playing, new venues and
Yeah,
stuff.
you don't
where
know
it's
how
just
it's going to go.
Yeah, because sometimes you do that and you find out what you thought was your fan base was just like, oh no, those are just people that are always at that club
Yeah, they
or
just
bar.
go to that place.
Yeah, they're always there, you know? But it was a really, really killer show. Like, tons of people were there. The venue was super sick. Band played great.
That's awesome.
I am excited about it.
That's
Things
really
went
cool.
well. Yesterday was the day of the show. I had to get up early as fuck that morning because there was a guy coming to look at doing some repairs on the house and stuff. So I had to get up at like 8:30 in the morning to come meet him and then like, paint the ceilings in the house and shit like this.
Yeah.
Worked all day, then played this big ass show, and then pretty much got up earlier than I wanted to today so I could do more work on the house. Pack up like seriously like a ton of books and move them into storage.
We've had to do that so many times, and let me tell you the secret to moving books. Don't pack a box full of books.
I mean, they get really fucking heavy.
Put half books and something else.
Yeah.
Put other stuff on it. Don't fill the fucking box because it's too goddamn heavy.
It gets brutal.
Yeah, because we have 5 bookshelves of books, and we have other books just in boxes, and we've had to move them so many times.
Oh, yeah.
It's the worst. And the last time we moved, we were like, wait, just don't put all the books in one box. Like, you can just spread the books out and you'll be fine. The only thing is you got to worry about the books. So you got to lay something over the books so they don't get all crumpled up by whatever's on top of it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Just put, half books and one pillow in every box.
There you go.
Very lightweight. Dude, it's the kind of thing, too, whenever you start doing this stuff where, we've lived in this house for like 8 or 9 years now.
Yeah.
And, of course, we've acquired more things since we lived here. And then you start realizing how much shit you've picked up when you are having to put it in boxes and physically move it. Especially with books and stuff like that. I mean, there's seriously like a ton of books in this house.
Yeah.
And then you just realize, like, I could fit everything I own onto, like, one Kindle. And it's like, time to pack up the library.
True.
And you slip it into a sleeve, and it's like,
That's
it's
true.
packed, it's done.
I just like having books around, though.
That's Kate's thing, too.
Yeah.
I honestly think if I could just have our entire library on a Kindle,
Yeah.
I think I would.
I'm that way with movies, where I don't care about DVDs.
No, I don't
At
anymore
all.
either. It's like an inconvenience,
We live out in the country. In the times where our internet has gone out, and one time it went out for 24 hours,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, right, that's why you have DVDs.
Exactly.
Because the internet doesn't always work.
I've had that same thing happen,
Yeah.
too, where it's like, thank God I had this on DVD because our internet's not working, and I have to do this podcast tomorrow.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have been totally screwed, Yeah, that's true. That's the only time that, like, the hard copy is really nice to have, you know?
The only problem you run into there is when, this has happened recently with whatever reader that people used to use from Barnes and Noble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where, like, they were just like, oh, it's not going to be a thing anymore. So
Right.
you don't have your books anymore.
I was wondering what's going to happen with iTunes since they're like discontinuing iTunes. It's like all people's iTunes libraries and the money they spend on the music.
Yeah.
Where's it going?
Hey, it's weird that I mean, it's real cool that you can like delete a song off of your computer and still have it because you bought it on iTunes.
Right.
But having recently bought a new Mac and transferred all my music, all it transfers is the iTunes stuff. It doesn't transfer the stuff you didn't buy on iTunes. which is like, well, fuck that iTunes. Like, now I gotta take all that music off, like physically put it on a flash drive and then move it over to here.
Yeah, it's just an extra pain in the ass.
I said physically, like it's an actual physical motion. There's
you
like a click or
tweezers.
two, and then wait. That's it.
Such laborious task.
Yeah, but it's like, come on, man. Like, you know the music's there. Take it with it.
This could have been easy.
Yeah.
This could have been easy. Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, it's that kind of thing, man, where you go through your stuff to move and you're like, I haven't even looked at this in 2 moves.
That's when I start thinking of how much shit I should get rid of.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, where it's just like, I never use this.
Yeah. I'm trying to be pretty ruthless in terms of like stuff that I've thrown away. Yeah, so in the middle of all this hysteria, I did have time to sit down and watch myself a movie this week, which I found very enjoyable.
What were it?
It is called The Spy Who Dumped Me.
Okay, so when you said that title earlier, I completely blanked, but then you said this is Mila Kunis and Kate McKinnon.
Yeah.
I remember the previews for that.
It's funny.
They are both funny ladies.
Yeah, totally so, man.
I have not seen anything. I guess I probably saw a preview at some point.
Yeah. Totally exceeded expectations. I figured it would just be kind of like, whatever, this is fine. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll get a couple laughs. The whole thing is like consistently really freaking funny.
Okay.
And brutal.
Okay.
Like surprisingly brutal. Yeah, usually whenever you watch like espionage, James Bond kind of movies, it's like they're light on the gore. Somebody will get shot and they like spin and fall to the ground and that's like it.
That's actually why I've only really watched the Daniel Craig ones, because they're more realistic on their violence.
Totally.
Because the others, it's just like silly.
Right. Yeah, this had some really good stuff in it, man.
Okay.
And like I said, it was really fucking funny. I enjoyed it. It was like maybe a little long, but I can't complain too much.
Okay.
In slightly more horror-related news, since this is the topic of this podcast of horror, I watched the new trailer for Dr. Sleep.
Okay.
The Shining sequel.
No, I haven't seen this. What do you think?
I'm confused.
I'm confused.
I'm overall confused about this because it seems to be like they are melding things from the Shining movie, which, as we know, is very different from the book, and stuff that happened in the book. So, okay. Kate's read the Dr. Sleep book. She said it was good. I've not read it yet.
Okay.
And it shows in the trailer a bunch of stuff where, like, Danny is going back to the Overlook Hotel and stuff.
Right.
Like, he's somehow back there. Now, of course, we know in the book, the hotel explodes at the end. So this is not following the book, which is weird because Dr. Sleep follows the Shining book, not the Shining movie, obviously. So it seems as if this is sort of like, what if Dr. Sleep followed the events of the Shining movie, since that's what most people have seen?
Okay.
But then there's other confusing shit in it, too, because it appears that Dick Halloran is in it. Dick Halloran died in the Shining movie, but didn't die in the Shining book.
Of course, he could appear as a ghost.
Maybe, or a flashback or something like that. It's kind of confusing, but, I mean, I'm such a nerd for The Shining that I'm just like, whatever, if I get to go back and see the Overlook and shit again, fine, take me there,
Who they have playing Scatman Crothers? Did you?
Yeah, it's some
playing
guy.
I mean, who do they have playing Dick Halloran? Scatman Crothers played Dick Halloran.
Right. I can't remember what the guy's name is, but he looks the part. He looks pretty convincing. Yeah.
Cool.
It's going to be hard to replace Scatman, though.
Yeah.
He's a big old shoes to fill, So, I don't know. I'm going to give it the old college try, of course, whenever it comes out. Hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
I think it comes out, in a couple months, doesn't it?
It's Mike Flanagan. Yeah, it comes out soonish.
Yeah. It should be soon. Yeah,
Mike Flanagan,
October.
Ewan McGregor.
Count me in.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
What you been watching this week, Steve?
Well, yesterday was a Saturday, and it was the first Saturday in the 3 weeks of college football that I've actually got to sit down and just watch football all day.
Yeah, some of them we've been casting and so forth.
It was awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It worked for you, huh?
Yeah, it worked great for me.
That's your long-going tradition.
Day. Yeah, I was switching channels, watching everything I could. Saw a great Florida-Kentucky game that was well worth the watch.
Okay.
And then, I just spent the whole day doing that. Normally, what I really would love to do on a day like that is just order a large pizza and eat on it throughout the day and watch football and drink beer. But no
too many carbs in that lifestyle for you right there, man.
Instead, I'm just sitting there sober.
What?
Still having fun.
Impossible.
Well, it was less fun.
For some reason, when I think of anybody watching football all day, I can't imagine them in any other scenario than like kicked back in a recliner wearing like wrinkly white socks and shorts That's just exactly what I imagine. Like when you said
I don't
watch
have a
football all
recliner,
day.
but I have a couch that I love, and that's what I'm doing. Yeah, just in my socks with my feet up.
I wasn't
shorts.
entirely inaccurate.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's real nice to get to do. I mean, I don't expect it to happen most weeks anymore, and it hasn't been happening for a few years. Well, no, that's not entirely true. In LA, especially with my cousin Shotgun, who covers sports and college football for USC's for the LA Times, we would just sit and watch every game together. And he also would sit and break down the film of a game because he had to for his articles. So like I'd sit there with him, and it's just like slowly going over each play, like seeing who did what. Like
Damn.
it
Comprehensive.
it was fun.
Dang, man.
Like I enjoyed it. I really had a fun time doing that. But like, there's always something to do. Always, and I'm not gonna say no. I'm watching football. I'd rather hang out with people and stuff. Like,
and hang out with people you did
yeah.
on the Stream and Chat Friday.
Oh hell yeah!
How was that?
Boy, it was fun. We watched because there was a full moon and it was Friday the 13th.
That's true. It's a lethal combination.
Yeah,
right there.
I wanted to do something either with werewolves or Friday the 13th related. And so we watched Howling 3 Marsupials.
How was that? I've not seen it.
It's fucking insane.
I've actually never seen any of the Howling movies.
Oh, really?
I know, right?
The first one's worth it. None of the others are.
That's what I've
And
heard
they're
from
a
everybody.
ton.
Yeah, dude. Like usually on like Amazon and shit like that,
Yeah.
you can never find the original Howling, but you
Right.
can find like 2 through 9. There's like a million of the fucking movies.
In this one, there were 2 movies within the movie.
I love it already.
There was a documentary being shot and a horror movie being shot. And the horror movie was about a werewolf, so you got that going on. Also, this Howling wasn't about werewolves. It was like were-roos, basically. And
What?
they were were-marsupials. And
So they had little cute pouches?
the werewoman had a cute little pouch
Aw.
and a little baby in there.
I don't know who thought that might be scarier than a werewolf.
I don't either. It
makes no
wasn't
sense.
scary at all. It was just overall ridiculous. It was so ridiculous and silly, but it was fun. Like, it was one of the funner movies we've done because I was just like, what? The whole time.
That
like,
sounds ridiculous.
what?
Could you imagine if they were like, trademark Dad and Lovely, were cheetahs? Now that
Were cheetah.
that would be an issue.
Hell yeah. Well, I mean, that probably is in parts of
some
Africa. There
mythologies
probably
and
is some
stuff,
mythology about that, yeah.
I mean, that would be a real problem.
Yeah, it
a
would.
werewolf is going to be pretty fast and pretty strong and
Yeah.
vicious, but that were cheetah, it'd be killing everybody.
You know, the thing about cheetahs that's interesting is they're pretty docile. Like they don't have a whole lot of defense mechanisms when something big approaches them. They just run.
Yeah.
So like you'll see videos of people like even with wild cheetahs, like the wild cheetah's just hanging out near them because the cheetah doesn't really see you as a threat because it can run, but it's also not really a threat to you because their main offense is running fast.
You know, the thing is you just kind of broke a little barrier in my mind because I think if I was ever at the zoo or somewhere like an animal reserve and
Yeah.
I was like getting up close to these cheetahs and they weren't running away, in my head up until now I would have been like, oh, they can sense that you know I love animals and
Yeah.
stuff and they think that I'm a friend.
They're just not scared of you.
They're just looking at me going, I can fucking run faster than you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
walk up to me. What
not
the fuck do
worried
I
about
care?
you,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can get away from you. Damn.
Cheetahs are just flexing on us.
Yeah,
They're just like,
that's
I
what
don't
it
give a
is.
shit.
I ain't
I'll get
scared.
away.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, good kitty. Kitty loves me.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We
Too
also,
bad.
okay, so we started Saturday the 14th, which is a early scary movie type of
Oh, okay. Parody. kind of
horror
thing.
parody. It was so bad,
Ugh.
but boring that we were like, fuck that. And then Ryan recommended a movie called Wacko, which is also like an early 80s horror comedy spoof sort of thing.
Is that part of a
Which was-
trilogy with Yakko and Dot?
I hope
also?
so. I really hope so. It was much more fun than Saturday the 14th, but just full of terrible, stupid jokes.
Yeah?
Yeah. But it was fun.
Did you get slippery wet drunk?
Yeah, I don't remember Wacko very
Oh, shit.
much, but I also after that watched Creep Show.
Nice.
I I think.
I think it was on.
Yeah, it was on.
Yeah, you turned it on anyway. That's funny, man. Were you rocking some vodka sodas?
Yeah,
again?
just vodka soda. Oh man, I have to report that the Claw is not the law, guys. Let me tell you this.
Really?
White Claw is a shot of spirits and 10 ounces of club soda. If I got that at a bar, I would ask for my money back. Like, I want
chip.
if it's just a shot. If we're talking, what is that? Like 1.5, 2 ounces? I don't remember.
It depends. Apparently, that's not a standardized issue. Yeah.
So if it's just a shot, I want equal parts soda to vodka.
Yeah, I usually don't want it super watered down.
Yeah, I do not want 10 ounces of club soda on top. It's just a drowned drink. Now, I get why people like them, because they're like super low calorie, and they will. I mean, you can slam them because you can't taste alcohol at all, really.
Yeah, but then
I got the seltzer version without the flavor.
Without the flavor, okay.
So you can taste a little bit of spirits, but not much.
Gotcha. Yeah, the first time I ever had one of those, I had that, and I was like, it turns out I've been accidentally making homemade White Claw for years.
Yeah.
And I've been making it way stronger.
Yeah, and for cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get a bottle of vodka for like $20. Yeah, and that's gonna make a whole lot of White Claws.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
get that and like a pack of LaCroix for $4
Right.
or whatever, and you have enough to make like several cases of White Claws.
So come on, kids. The Claw's not the law.
Yeah,
The
we're just
seltzer's the
lawbreakers.
meltzer. What?
Yeah, maybe that's not it. Those aren't words.
The soda's my bro, yeah.
There's got to be something better there. We'll come up.
Well,
with
it's
something.
got club soda in it, so how about into club?
Into club.
There we go.
There you go. Put that vodka into club. Yeah.
Yes, that's how I'm gonna order.
Fuck White Claw.
Vodka soda next time. Put that vodka into club. And they'll just look at me like, what the fuck do you want?
Vodka and club soda.
That's what I'm gonna say next time,
With
so you
lime.
know. It'll impress people.
Yeah, we're making it a new thing. Vodka into club. Hashtag vodka into club. Tag that lovely.
Hashtag vodka in the club. Jesus, that's awesome.
Steve, I'll drink to that. What do we got to sip on over here?
Yeah, okay, so these are. I brought 2 of the beers that RDM brought us recently. I
Yeah.
brought the session IPAs he brought us because we're recording another episode after this.
True.
So,
This is a long podcast session.
yeah. But this is, they're both Lord Hobo Brewing, which is in Massachusetts, I believe. Yeah, Woburn, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, it's pronounced. Thank you.
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Baston.
And this is a dry hopped Citra session IPA called Hobo Life.
I love IPAs. I love Citra, and I love hobos.
Yeah, and this is only like 4.5%, which is high for a session.
Yeah. Now, RDM, I think, has given us some Lord Hobo in the past, and I've seen the
believe
Lord
so.
Hobo logo. I think he's got a bumper sticker of that on his vehicle, if I'm not mistaken. Got a little cloud going on over there. That's looking mighty fine. I'm looking forward to that. I've not really been drinking a lot of beer lately either, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been trying to cut out home beer for the most part. I've had 1 or 2 every now and then, but mainly just been rocking them spirits. Well, this looks pretty damn good. I'm looking forward to trying
It
this
smells good too.
Let's get my nose around that here, and then get it in my face.
Yeah, that's nice and citrusy.
Oh, I'm looking forward to getting that all in my
Yeah.
face. That smells fantastic,
I'm gonna go
man.
for it.
Yeah, go in deep like and report with your findings on this delicious beverage.
yeah,
Does that make you want to ride the rails?
yeah, it does. Real bright and citrusy.
Yes, it is, man. That's great.
Yeah.
It's not too dry nor too sweet,
Yeah,
which I really like a lot.
me too.
The dryness is not as like... It's not as dry as like a Brett IPA,
Right.
You know, where there's just like no sugar to it at all. But at the same time, all the citrusy kind of aspects of that liven it up quite a lot.
Yeah, it's real good. I'm
Damn,
digging that.
I like that a lot. That's one of
Lord
those.
Hobo.
Yeah, you could have a couple, 2, 3 of those.
Couple to a tree.
No problem at all. And
Yeah.
I don't think I would grow tired of it.
No.
Wonderful stuff. Thanks, Roger.
stuff.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
And if you guys want us to sample the brews of your hometown,
Let us know. Send me an email. I'll get you an address to send some.
poison-free beers only.
Please.
We're
Please.
allergic to arsenic.
If there's poison in it, please indicate.
Yeah, exactly. And
This
we'll
one's
donate
poison.
those to a canned
I was
food
trying
shelter.
to kill y'all.
Yeah, just let us know in
Love
advance.
murderer.
Love murderer. That's fun stuff. You know, Steve, the subject of our podcast today is going to be one that people have been clamoring for. They've been shouting from the rooftops. Shout! Clamor, clamor, clamor! Clamor, clamor!
Shout at the devil!
I love that song.
Yeah.
That's classic right there. We're talking about Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which is a really fantastic horror comedy that you guys have been wanting us to dig into for a while. And the subject, of course, of Tucker and Dale versus Evil are Tucker and Dale, who might be some rednecks.
If you're Tucker and Dale, you might be a redneck.
You might be. Mm-hmm. And, I think in honor of that fact and the fact that we are also people of hillbilly nature,
it's true,
being from the rolling hills of East Tennessee, if you can't tell from our outrageous accents, I get people all the time on my YouTube channel being like, where are you from?
Where are you from?
Yeah, like people, I guess,
Yankee.
can't tell. Yeah, like in my head, I'm like, I must sound Southern.
I mean, we both have moved more toward the TV neutral accent.
TV neutral. Yeah. I think so. But I mean, I know
because we all grew up in
out.
front of TVs. Like most of us, I imagine.
Right,
in the South. We grew
so
up
kind of taking on that accent.
Like, our family talked one way and then the world talked this way.
Right.
Yeah.
That explains why I soft and now go, did I do that? When I really am just trying to say, did I do that?
Remember that? People always forget that was part of his thing, too.
Loving cheese.
Yeah, nerds love cheese. What?
That used to be a thing. That's right.
I don't get it. They also forget his Bruce Lee version.
Ooh.
Yeah, where he came out knowing karate.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
And it was very racist.
It was definitely pretty fucking racist. I forgot about that. Wow. Deep cuts. Deep TGIF cuts with Dead and Lovely.
Let's get into hanging with Mr. Cooper. Remember when he became a coach of a professional basketball team?
I do.
The Sacramento Kings? That was weird.
We should just do like a whole TGIF
I would
mini-series,
love that. By the way, basically trademark Dead and Lovely, but we're stealing it from Raised by TV.
Oh, dude, that show. I've not listened to it in a while because they kind of took a break.
They haven't done new episodes for a bit, but they'll be back.
So.
Yeah, they're doing it in seasons, so they'll be back. Yeah, John Gabrus and Lauren Lapkus' show. Raised by TV is so good. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it.
Yeah, dude. You introduced me to that last year. I remember listening to that heavily while I was doing that Utah trip and stuff that I did last year. But anyway, in honor of all four of us and Tucker and Dale being some rednecks, I think before we start talking about the movie itself, how about we just slip on into the Preview Palace?
Welcome to the Preview Palace.
And I want to find out if we're really as red neck as we claim to be, or if we're just a bunch of damn Yankee carpet-bagging posers up in here.
We might be.
I'm excited to find out.
I feel like a carpetbagger sometimes. We're going to ask those BuzzFeed wizards, and this one in particular, Gabriel Sanchez, how many Southern expressions do you know? This quiz asks.
I'm looking forward to hearing this because there are a lot of those local terms, phrases, expressions, and stuff that we use here in the South that other people just do not understand. And a lot of them are nonsensical, and a lot of them are very endearing. But the problem is, a lot of them are very regional, too.
That's true. I mean, even within this East Tennessee, you can kind of tell who's from, Cock County.
Oh, yeah.
And who's from Knox County.
Absolutely so, yeah. But then much less, if you go out towards, coastal North Carolina and stuff, and they have a much different accent.
Way different,
and different expressions. God forbid if you go really far south.
Yeah, South Carolina, Charleston, that sort of area. Yeah.
So it's like the South itself has all of its own weird phrases spread all over it. So I'm wondering how accurate this is.
I'm wondering if this is going to be Texas or Georgia or anyway.
So it's going to give us a phrase.
We'll get in some of our own if they don't get to them.
Exactly right. They're going to give us a phrase and we try to interpret the meaning, right?
Yeah, phrase or a word. Okay, so first one is cattywampus.
Cattywampus.
Now we got four options here. A mythical cat-like creature that lives in the swamps.
I like that.
That's not it, though.
That's not it.
Something that is crooked. Someone who's being an asshole. A vagina. It's crooked.
It's crooked. Yeah, it's cattywampus.
Cattywampus. Got it.
I went in.
Correct.
I went in that house. Them floors was all cattywampus. Exactly right.
Gussied up.
Oh yeah,
this one's a
getting
good
all
one.
gussied up. I love that one. Yeah, it means getting prettified. And
yeah,
all
we know. I mean, I'm just gonna read the answers, but we know what this is: beating someone up, feeling flattered after a compliment, acting like my Uncle Gus, or dressing something or someone up.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Dressing up,
getting all gussied up,
going into
town,
head downtown.
Yep, that's a good one.
I might not know this one.
Okay.
A bell clapper and a goose's ass.
A bell clapper and a goose's ass.
Yeah.
I have heard this, but I don't know what it means.
Sex position that we really can't describe here. That's not it.
No.
Something that's very fast, making a lot of loud noise. That's got to be it. Or a bout of explosive diarrhea. Yeah, because geese are loud. Bells are loud.
Yeah.
Oh, wrong. Something that's very fast.
Really? A bell clapper and a goose's ass?
What thing run like a bell clapper and a goose's ass?
God, I didn't know that. Okay, all right. So maybe I'm not as much of a hillbilly as I imagined.
Okay. Now this I do not know.
Okay.
Tearing up Jake.
Who's Jake?
I don't know.
Tearing up Jake.
Doing hard labor, performing yard work, making a lot of noise, or taking the lead in a competition. I'd say it's probably doing hard labor, but I don't.
I should think.
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Nope, making a lot of noise.
Wow, tearing up Jake. I want to know the origins of that one, man.
Okay,
that skank banger, I went and seen them last night.
What's tearing up Jake?
It was tearing up Jake. That boy had a zebra amp.
That boy had a zebra.
He had a zebra amp.
All right, you definitely know this one. High on the hog.
Oh, yeah. High on the
Living
hog.
a luxurious lifestyle.
Yeah,
that's it. Speaking from a place of authority, being stoned out of your mind, or the feeling after eating a huge meal. No. It's definitely, living a luxurious lifestyle.
I think a more dated and probably racially insensitive thing that I hear sometimes too is like shitting in high cotton.
Yep.
Have you heard that one?
Yeah.
I think that probably has
shitting in high cotton.
Nefarious origins.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, it probably does.
It has to be
Anytime a Southern person says the word cotton, it's probably
racist.
Yeah.
The touch, the feel of cotton.
No, racist.
That's racist.
Racist.
No, it's the fabric of our lives, man.
Wait a second. That's Hanes. Is that the touch, the feel
I think
of cotton?
so, yeah.
Fabric of our lives? Or is that just a commercial for cotton in general?
Yeah, Big Cotton, I think
Big
they're
cotton out there. Okay, Cooter Brown.
Cooter Brown?
Okay. I think I know this
I need
one.
an assist. I'm going to need to tag you in for this one.
Picking your nose in public. Another sex position that I'll get fired if I describe here. Talking trash behind people's backs, or being very, very drunk.
Boy, I got no idea.
I believe it's being very, very drunk, because I believe Cooter Brown was the drunk in the Andy Griffith Show.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Nice, man. He was drunk as Cooter Brown.
Yeah, he would check himself in. Did you ever watch the Andy Griffith Show?
Okay. That
He's
was
the
one
guy
of those
who would get
ones-
super drunk, come to the jail, and just put himself into the jail cell.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that now. That was always one of those ones that, like, I always hated because it was just on at grandparents' house. And it was just like, you're not watching Ninja Turtles, you're watching fucking Andy Griffith.
I loved Andy Griffith.
Always hated it. Always hated it.
Jerk a knot in your tail.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Having to take a piss, tying a ponytail before getting to work, kicking someone's ass, or masturbation.
I think that's kicking somebody's
Kicking
ass.
someone's ass.
Yeah,
I'm jerking a knot in your tail. Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. I like that.
Oh, I don't know if I know this one. Get on the stick.
Get on the stick.
Is that what you say to your girlfriend when you have sex, I guess?
Get
Honey,
on the
get
stick.
on the stick. What? What? Or is that when you want to get pegged?
I think that's what it is.
Honey,
Yeah.
go get on the
Go
stick.
get on the stick. Wear me out, why don't you?
Wear my asshole out. All right. Getting completely wasted off hard liquor. Now, we do have a ton of ways of saying get drunk, so it might be
many
that.
ways.
Driving a motor vehicle, maybe. Insulting somebody, or getting to work on something.
Driving a motor vehicle would make sense. 'Cause
It
it's
does.
like stick shift. You
but
know?
I would also think getting to work on something might work. But let's go driving a motor vehicle.
Okay.
Oh, it's getting to work on something.
Oh, you had it right, man.
Well, all right.
You might be a redneck.
I might be. Clodhopper.
Oh, the
man.
old clodhopper.
Yeah, my nanny definitely says this one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Police officer, moving from town to town, a nickname for crickets, or someone who is super clumsy. Super clumsy.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that would be it. Is that it?
Yep.
Yeah.
We are correct. Goobers.
Goobers. Nice.
Freshly picked booger. Another name for peanuts, an annoying toddler, or another name for Hershey's Kisses. Peanuts. Just like them chocolate-covered goobers.
Exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hunky-dory. I think everybody knows this one, right?
good.
That's not.
Fine.
Is
Yeah.
that a Southern expression?
I didn't think so.
Huh. Hunky-dory. Nemo's hot older sister.
What?
What? Let's not sexualize anything about
No.
Finding Nemo. Let's just... No Rule 34 on Nemo.
Please no. You know it exists, though.
Oh, of course it does.
Hey, quick PS, though, about that. That just reminded me of something that I was thinking about recently. there's all this like Harry Potter like slash fiction and stuff, right?
Right.
That's child pornography, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I
Most
just
of it's
wanted to
written
double
by
check that.
teenagers, though. I
Is
believe.
it not still though? Like,
Well, I'm sure there are
Child
adults writing it.
pornography?
Oh yeah, it's still child pornography. Yeah,
And
if
if you're
children
an
make
adult-
porn, it's still child pornography. Yeah.
yeah, I should think so. You know, and I mean, obviously there's some that are about like the teachers fucking around, but it's like there's so much Harry and Malfoy stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
And it's like they're just kids fucking each other. Don't read that.
That is
It's
weird.
gross.
It
you
is
know,
weird.
it's like you give it this free pass, but it's like, no,
that's strange.
it's not good.
An incredibly sexy English chap, fish sticks that are especially tasty, or everything is a-okay. Everything's a-okay.
Yeah, hunky dory.
Correct.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a redneck theme.
We got 8 out of 11 right.
Okay.
So 73%. We're Southern slang extraordinaire.
Hey, look at us.
Well, butter my butt and call me a biscuit. Looks like we've got a real Southern slang extraordinaire here. Good job, kiddo.
Pretty good.
If
I
they
think
wanted
we
to do
fared
that
pretty well.
right, should have been good job, Buddy Rowe.
Buddy Rowe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Classic.
Yeah.
Very good. That would have been good. I think we fared pretty well on that
I
one.
love how rednecks find ways to just because that of course comes from Buddy to Budrow to then Buddy Rowe.
Yeah. There's like a 3-step fuck-uppery process there.
The majority of these things, of course, happen while drinking too. So,
That's probably the origins of all of this slang. I ain't never Buddy Rowe.
you really can kind of say anything and say it means getting drunk in the South as well. Like
Yeah, pretty much.
pretty much, yeah.
I wish they would have had some of those like really specific ones, like Chester drawers.
Chester drawers.
Chester drawers.
Yeah. So we're in the Chester drawers.
Yeah.
They almost said that in this.
Yeah.
But he misses it. Mm-hmm. Alan Tudyk's from Texas too, but maybe they don't say
Is
Chester.
he really?
Yeah, maybe they don't say Chester drawers there. But he almost says it. He's like Chester drawers.
Yeah. He should have gone full Chester on
Chester
that one,
drawers,
Should have
yeah.
gone full out Chester on it.
I like rent.
Runt.
Anywhere that an extra R is thrown in, heathen.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. We love tossing in that R
Yeah.
into stuff.
Heathen.
Heathen is one of my favorites.
Y'all a bunch of heathens.
Bunch of heathens. I love that one too.
Yeah.
Of course, razzling.
Razzling. Yeah.
I don't know if many a day goes by that I don't say razzling. Of course, meaning wrestling.
Y'all want to watch razzling?
Horsing around, horseplay.
Oh man, I had a bus driver. I may have told this story before, but I had a bus driver when I was little. And there was this kid on the bus who would always fuck with him. I guess he loved his reactions because he was a Vietnam vet and an alcoholic. And
This kid could have gotten killed easily.
He crashed the bus
Holy shit.
a few times
Whoa.
before they fired him. He would stop the bus because of this kid and come back and just cuss him out and then go back and drive.
Awesome.
And at one time he was like, I'm going to write you up for insubordination and horseplay.
Insubordination and horseplay.
Which, the thing was, this kid, I think this kid must have been related to him or something, because this kid just immediately made it a joke, because it was like, everybody was like, what the fuck? Horseplay?
Horseplay. Dude, I think that's going to be the name of my first solo album.
Horseplay.
No, insubordination and horseplay.
Insubordination and horseplay.
I think that's what it's going to be right there, man. That's fucking funny. Yeah, there's so many dumb things that people around here say that have just like, I've just come to love them because it's so funny and stupid. And I realize it's just part of being from here.
Yep.
You know? So
I
enjoy
mean,
it.
a lot of people that talk like that, they know it's not like correct. They're having fun with language. That's awesome, right? Like, where a lot of us are way uptight about language. We want everything to, we correct people and shit, and it's just like, what?
I'll do it wrong on purpose.
Yeah, fuck you.
That's cool by me.
Yeah.
Now, Steve, I assume this is not the first time that you watched Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
No, I think Emily and I watched it when we were earlier in our marriage, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, it was just, I think it was on Netflix, and Alan Tudyk was in it, and love Alan Tudyk from all sorts of stuff. I mean, he was in Firefly, but Death at a Funeral is the one I was thinking of.
Oh, Death at a Funeral, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of, what's that one he's in with Heath Ledger? There's like jousting.
Knight's Tale?
Yeah, Knight's Tale. He's in that, right?
Yeah. He's also Steve the Pirate in Dodgeball.
Steve the Pirate.
Uh-huh.
That's right, man.
Yeah,
Forgot about that.
Yeah, so just him being in it, and Suri from 30 Rock.
Yep.
I saw both of them and it was just like, yeah, I want to watch that.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. The first time that I watched this movie was actually the same day that I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre in its entirety for the first time.
Was this the palate cleanser?
It was.
Oh, good.
Absolutely so, yeah.
Well, it'll do it.
It was actually a very fateful and eventful weekend, honestly.
Okay.
Because the day before was Davy Stranger's first appearance.
Whoa.
Playing on stage with Far, Far Away. Mm-hmm. That was the introduction of Davy Stranger.
Okay.
My goth glam alter ego.
Yeah.
Actually, Ben Eller's alter ego. Davy Stranger.
Right, sure. He's
the real
who
me.
you really are.
Yeah, exactly. Superman Clark Kent. You get the idea.
Yeah.
Davey played his first show the night before, which was amazing. And I woke up and I had like kind of the starts of like a bad cold and stuff coming up. Kate had to work all day at her camera job, and I was like, I'm just going to lay on the couch and just watch horror movies all day.
Yeah.
Which, now that my life is just pure insanity 24/7, I'm like, God.
How did I do that?
Yeah, the idea that I had time to watch 2 movies in the daytime and just sit on the couch was awesome. I missed that. I want that back. But I watched Texas Chainsaw through for the first time all the way. I'd seen it just in bits and pieces, you know, at friends' houses and shit. And I was like, God damn. I just felt fucked up. I mean, that's a movie where even after you've watched it a lot of times, it's still exhausting.
Yes, it's a very tough watch.
Yeah. So I was like, I need something that'll kind of help me come down a little bit. So I watched this movie after it and just fucking loved it. I thought it was hilarious and really well done and really well acted and stuff. So
I agree.
I've been a fan of this flick for a while. But, you know, as always, when we watch these movies, sometimes we watch these flicks that we've seen a million times and loved, but you watch them with a little bit more critical eye when you're doing a podcast about it. So I will say that I did notice some things in it this time around that was like, okay, that could have been done a bit better, you know?
Yeah, I noticed the first time I watched it that I thought that the main story was a little weak anyway. And watching it with a critical eye, I was like, yeah, it's real weak.
Yeah.
But this I think relied more on comedy than horror.
Yeah.
And in a comedy, you can have a pretty weak story and it doesn't matter. I mean, what's a good I was going to say Anchorman, but that actually does have a pretty good story.
Yeah, there's plenty that just have very super simple.
And it's just about being funny.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
like,
enough.
that's fine.
The humor is enough to keep it going. Yeah.
That's why comedies tend to get low ratings, but it's like nobody gives a shit about that.
Right.
Is it funny?
And I mean, similarly, there's lots of great horror movies that just rely on brutality and gore
and don't have a story at all.
Not really much of a story, and that's fine. I mean, most of the Friday the 13th movies have no plot. Still love them. Gets by on gore. And this movie definitely does play up the comedy, and I think that ultimately this movie would have been far less successful if it was not cast the way that it was.
I mean, Alan Tudyk is great. Tyler Labine is also really great.
That's Dale, correct?
Yeah.
I always forget his name.
Yeah, you may have seen him in a few things, but he has a Hulu show where basically he can talk to dead people or something.
Oh, snap. I gotta watch that.
I haven't watched it, but I hear it's really funny.
I know him as the guy in Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
Right.
Who walks in drunk as fuck onto the set of the coffee porn that they're shooting at the coffee house and stuff. And he's like, fucking Roethlisberger, man, was all, fuck it, chug it, football.
Fuck it, chug it, football.
I need coffee, son, drive home.
Yeah.
And he's just in the movie for like 2 or 3 minutes.
He's in a lot of stuff.
He's so funny, man.
Yeah, if you look at his IMDb, he's got a lot of credits, but it's not like recurring roles or anything. Like, though he does have one recurring role, which is as a stoner on the X-Files from back in the day and the most recent season they had like a year ago. Yeah, they brought him back as the stoner.
How young was he on the first series?
Very young. He was like a teenage stoner type of dude. Yeah.
I had no idea that he'd been like acting that long.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I think he must be older than I think he is.
Well, he also looks like a lot of people. Like,
there's that too.
He's got kind of a Zach Galifianakis look to him.
Yeah.
He's also, I'd say, like Mike Mitchell from the Birthday Boys. Like he looks like a lot of comedians. So like he can kind of blend into the role where you're like, you don't even notice it's Tyler Labine, but he always does a great job.
Yeah. And he just always has that quality where it's like he looks like somebody that you know. It's like everybody knows somebody that looks kind of like that guy. Like I know one dude in particular that looks like a skinnier version of him. And we got somebody over in Kate's family that his vocal tone and speech patterns and
Is
stuff
exactly like
are,
Dale?
dude, it's nearly identical. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just like a very identifiable, very likable guy.
Yeah.
And they do such a good job to bring those characters to life where it's like, yeah, they're hillbillies and stuff, but they're not just a bunch of idiots.
That is true of the South. I would say the IQ distribution in the South is probably the same as it is anywhere else. There are people on the high end, people on the low end, and most are in the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
And just because you sound Southern doesn't mean you are dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like what you were saying a second ago. It's like a lot of us talk that way by choice.
Yeah, because it's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun to talk
it's
like
fun.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And sets you apart and just tells people where you are from in the country and stuff. So that's okay. So a lot of times you might, meet somebody who's wearing coveralls and a dirty hat and has a dip in their lip and stuff like this, and you might just assume, based on just everything that you've ever seen in TV and movies, that person's an idiot because they talk with a drawl and look the way they do. And then you get to talking to them, and it's like they're fucking extremely smart.
Oh, you work for NASA, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that happens a lot. Like,
Yeah.
If you watch Forensic File, Forensic Files is, if you like true crime and love cheesy retellings of true crime, Forensic Files is the best. But like there's so many in the South, and it'll be like you hear this guy talking before it shows who it is, and it's just like, oh, he sounds pretty fucking Southern, and then it's like district attorney.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He's at least passed law school, so we know he's a little bit smart.
Yeah, it's like just because somebody talks with a certain accent doesn't mean anything about their intelligence level.
I think what we tend to, and this is maybe not a negative thing, is that we tend to assume that if someone is intelligent, that they'll adopt
a more neutral
accent, which is true of most intelligent Southerns, I would say. But some say fuck it. And I'm with them, man. That's really cool. I'm glad they do that.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. And of course, we've also got Sari from 30 Rock in this.
Yeah,
great.
she, you might know her as the girl in the dance video. Huh?
No, Fall Out Boy?
Yeah,
She's
that
in
was
that?
That was her first big thing.
Tad's pants. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch that again. Oh,
She's
God.
great,
Can I put it on mute? I can put it on mute, though, right? I don't have to listen to the song.
You can definitely put it on mute.
Okay.
That was at a time when, like, MTV was, like, almost totally out of showing videos, and YouTube hadn't really taken up the slack yet for all the music videos. So, like, people didn't see music videos a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, there was just kind of this weird period there for a while where they weren't showing music videos on MTV and there wasn't YouTube. Yeah. Where did music videos go? Like, because even MTV too quit showing videos.
I mean, I had just assumed for a while that music videos were dead, but then you start hearing that most kids watch or get their music from YouTube.
Yeah.
So they're watching music videos. So music videos are more popular than they ever were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, especially thanks to like Sia and Billie Eilish and all these other artists
the people
making
that
videos.
OK Go was maybe the turning point with that. Yeah.
Yep. I think that they made people aware. It's like you can watch their new music video on YouTube and it's fucking awesome. You want to watch it.
Yeah.
OK Go has some hits.
Dude. They too. Yeah.
They have some hits, and those videos are sick as fuck.
They really are.
Totally awesome, man. You know, I saw like a week or two ago that the VMAs were on, and I'm like, did they have them on MTV? And it's like, yeah, they hosted them on MTV, and it's like, but they don't show.
They don't show them on MTV.
Like they might as well have it like on the Cooking Network, like on the Food Network.
Yeah, might as well anywhere.
Yeah. They showed just as many music videos on the Food Network. So
well, Viacom owns it, so they're gonna put it on MTV.
There you go. Yeah. But you know, it's like that makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. That is odd. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, there were VMAs even in that period where nobody was really watching videos.
Missy Elliott had a performance at these last VMAs that was insane.
Love Missy.
Holy
She's awesome.
shit. You need to watch the performance, dude. It is like out of control nuts. I don't even know how they planned it out. It's so badass. Okay, so she was in that.
She was in that video.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and she's also in 30 Rock, as you said, but also in Piranha 3 Double D. So we're going to see her again definitely in the future.
Awesome.
Because we got to cover. I mean, even if we don't, I think we should cover all the Piranhas because Joe Dante directed one, and it wasn't the first one directed by.
Piranha 2 is James Cameron.
Oh, yeah. Piranha 2, James Cameron. And then Alexander Aja. 3 great directors have directed a series that's
Yeah.
3D is the best.
But everybody's gotten a swing at it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, 3D is the best.
Yeah.
That's a really, really silly-ass movie right there.
There's some other people in here that we probably will see again.
Yeah, Chad.
Jesse Mossy plays
right?
Chad. He's in Ginger Snaps and in Wolf Cop.
Which I've never seen either of.
Oh, really?
Never seen
You're
either
missing
one.
out on 2 great werewolf movies.
I remember you saying Ginger Snaps was a werewolf
Yeah.
movie, and I didn't even know that's what that was. For some reason, I thought it was another one of those, like, hot, evil bitch movies, you know?
Yeah, no, it's a werewolf. It's more like
know
it's
where I
more
got
of a
that
werewolf as like association with puberty. It's been around for a long time.
Okay.
I was a teenage werewolf, teen wolf, etc. And then Wolf Cop, which is fucking amazing.
I've heard. I need to watch that one, too. I've never seen it.
And Shaylin Simmons, who plays Chloe, is also in Final Destination 3 in one of the best Final Destination kills.
Which one's Chloe?
She's the one that smokes. That is her.
Okay,
her character
blonde
trait
boobs girl.
is smoking.
Yeah. And she's like the ditzy blonde with big boobs.
Yeah.
Is kind of her trope that she's acting
Who looks
out.
like she probably isn't a college student.
No.
She looks a little too old.
None of them really, like, Chad
Yeah.
looks too old to be in
Yeah.
college. Like, all of them really do, you know?
Uh-huh.
Other than maybe Sari, maybe
Yeah, she looks young, but yeah, she's probably the only one that looks
college
young
age,
enough,
I guess.
yeah. Maybe they're all in grad school.
Maybe that's what it is.
Grad school spring break.
And then all the other teens, it seems like a lot of them don't even get names, and they're just kind of like
Right,
just
they
kill
have
fodder.
names, but like you just don't even pay attention. Naomi is the there are 3 women in the movie and 8 dudes. Pretty weird ratio.
Okay.
But yeah, Chloe's the other girl. She's in iZombie in season 5 and 6. So
Okay, so you just saw her on those
I did just see it.
recently.
Yeah, it was cool when she came on screen. I was like, oh fuck, Michelle.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize her from Tucker and Dale. So yeah, the others, they have names, but they just don't seem to get
Doesn't really
said,
matter.
and it doesn't really matter.
And I
There's
don't really
like,
care.
Yeah,
Either, is the
no,
thing.
yeah, and that's that like positive that carries over from comedies. Like, you don't really think about anybody's name in a comedy. Like
Yeah.
if it's a comedy, unless it's named after him, Ricky Bobby, like you're gonna think of Talladega Nights, you're gonna think of Ricky Bobby, or again Anchorman, you're gonna think
Hanging
of
with Mr. Cooper.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper, you're gonna think of Mr. Cooper.
And yeah, that's also something with like the whole like nameless group of teens that you don't even give a shit about. That's just definitely a trope that they picked up from so many of the slashers that they're kind
Yeah.
of aping in this movie too. Where
Yeah,
it's like,
no, they did a good job of it because you don't really care about those kids in
no,
those movies. Usually.
not really. But you still have a handful of characters like Tucker, Dale, Chad, and Allison,
Yeah.
which is Sari. Those like little group of characters are way more developed and way more personable
Yeah.
and way more deeply fleshed out. And they're surrounded by the rest of these just like cardboard cutouts that are there just to get killed.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I don't need story about these like 9 college kids in an SUV. Like, I don't need to know about all of them.
Yeah, we just need to see Tucker and Dale. Now, I want to ask you though about this. Since Tucker and Dale are in the title, we know they're our protagonists.
Yeah. The fake out isn't for us going, oh my gosh, these hillbillies are out to kill these kids.
Yeah, we see it very clearly the whole time. These kids are accidentally killing themselves.
Yeah, I mean, by declaring them as versus evil, it declares that they are not themselves
Right.
evil. Yeah.
So there had to be an evil, but I wish there wasn't. I wish that it was just Tucker and Dale and all these kids keep accidentally killing themselves. But that's not a story. It doesn't go anywhere. I get they had to include like some villain,
Yeah.
but I just felt like it was real weak, the villain introduction.
I can completely understand that. And again,
Yeah.
that's one of those things that I did notice more this time than before. Because it's one of those deals where in my head, that character of Chad and like his motivations and how he's actually the crazy one and all that stuff, I thought was developed a bit more. Like he was a psycho killer, like among them.
Uh-huh.
But you're right, not really.
Yeah. He's
It's-
not responsible for really anyone's death, honestly. Like, it's all just accidents.
Yeah.
And then he is going to kill Allie.
Which would be a little out of the blue.
Yeah.
Because he's not necessarily evil. Like, if anything, he's like mentally ill
Yes.
because of the way he was,
Yeah.
born and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he seems to have PTSD, like that constant vigilance sort of thing, assuming the worst about everything. Yeah.
It's not necessarily evil.
No, it's not. And then at the end, we find out that his mother was raped by a hillbilly, and it makes you feel even more sorry for the guy instead of making you be like, oh, he's more evil.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, that sucks.
That's really awful.
Oh, now he's dead. Okay.
A little rough when you get down to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the kind of thing where you could tell the origins of how this movie got made as somebody was sitting around thinking, it would be so funny if there was a movie where there's a bunch of like hapless kids going camping in the woods.
Yeah, every indication that this is going to be rednecks killing the kids.
Yeah. And they're just misunderstanding.
Right.
And they keep accidentally killing each other and stuff.
Yeah.
But they keep thinking it's the rednecks.
Yeah.
But it's like they started there, and then somebody along the ways was like, yeah, but you got to have some kind of a foil.
Yeah, there's got to be a plot.
There's got to be an antagonist or somebody in here that's
like, you
actually
can't just
doing
be
the
all
stuff.
these kids killed themselves, and then Tucker and Dale are like, oh, okay, fuck.
Yeah.
The end. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't work.
I understand they had to flesh it out a bit more, but it does ultimately seem kind of throwaway.
Yeah.
You know?
Talk a little bit about the director / writer, Eli Craig. He is the son of Sally Field.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He used to act. He's in The Rage, Carrie 2. So eventually, we'll probably be talking about this guy's acting.
Okay, right on.
But he also
movie.
directed a movie called Little Evil, which I mentioned maybe a year ago that I had watched on Netflix. It has Adam Scott, and it's basically the idea of like, what if the kid from The Omen was the kid of a woman you're dating? And
Oh, shit.
then like you have to like try to get along with him. So it's
With
also a
Damien.
horror comedy.
That sounds awesome.
It is. It's really funny. I liked it. So yeah, he's made something else that was good. So I imagine we'll see some more from him in the future. I don't know if he'll stick with horror comedies. I'd say you'd probably want to branch out at a certain point.
Well, there's like a rumored sequel for this.
Yeah, I've heard
that might be coming up sometime soon. I mean, I'm all for it.
I'm all for it too.
personally.
Yeah.
Especially considering that we find out at the opening of the movie that the villain survives.
Yeah.
Movie starts with the stinger.
Yeah, and it does. I guess if you're watching it the first time, you could think like, oh, he was a victim, but like it didn't. I remember watching it the first time. I was like, who? What was that?
Well, he like knocks the lady out with like a baseball bat. You know, I get this pretty clear indication that like, oh, they stumbled across the villain right here at the first, and it even shows Chad full face.
Yeah. You see him, so later it's like, oh, that's that guy.
That's that guy. What happened? You know, what led us to this point? Which, you know, we have that opening sequence where whenever you do see his face, he is halfway like burnt and stuff, but he still has like the distinctive like Chad popped collar.
Yeah, the popped collar.
Yeah, and then it's like 3 days earlier, and it shows, you know, the kids driving up through the forest and stuff to go to this place. It says West Virginia, clearly not West Virginia, by the way.
No, West Virginia.
We don't have entire forests of towering 80-foot pines.
Nope,
around the West Virginia
not the
area.
Appalachian Mountains. No, it was shot in Calgary, where tons of things are shot because of tax incentives.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, I guess whenever we see the same guy that we just saw in the van, you're going, oh man, what led him to this place? But I don't know if that's more effective than it would have been if they just started the movie with the kids driving out.
I think that would have been more effective, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too. And then at the very end of the movie is where you have that stinger where he attacks the news people.
Yeah.
You know, that's like an after the credits scene, not a start of the movie scene.
Yeah.
I guess in a way that's kind of neat because you just don't usually see things starting with the stinger, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting, at least.
But I don't know that
makes
it's better.
Yeah, I don't know that if you had bolstered the story of this too much, you probably would have lost a lot of the comedy.
Yeah.
So, like, even my complaints about the story, it's like, yeah, but I feel like the weakness of the story actually just gets out of the way for the funny parts.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Which is
me.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like as soon as the movie starts, it's so fun and entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, you get introduced to this group of college kids. There's like 9 of them in this car.
In this SUV, yeah.
Yeah, and all they're talking about is like getting high and having beer and camping.
Yeah. Exactly what you want out of a slasher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It just seems like the start of every other generic, kind of slasher. And they stop by that gas station, which is where they meet Tucker and Dale for like the first time.
Yeah, and they do they get the warning, or do Tucker and Dale get the warning not to go up to their cabin?
Pain up there, and
so they reverse it.
Yeah.
Like, instead of telling the kids don't go up that road or whatever, like they're telling the people we know from the title are our protagonists, Like, you don't want to go up to your own cabin. There's nothing but pain up there. That's really funny. I like that.
Little reversal of that trope.
Yeah. I mean, it shows that Eli Craig knows horror movies. Like, he knows you need that. You need the crazy Ralph. But, like, the kids aren't the ones who need the warning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I love that whole gas station scene where you're kind of introduced to all these elements of those two kind of sets of characters.
Yeah.
The hillbillies and the college kids.
Yeah.
And how they're both naturally, like, afraid of each other.
Yes.
But also completely wrong about each other.
Yeah.
You know? And that's where we're also introduced to the fact that Dale kind of has this, like, insuperiority complex.
Yeah.
You know?
He got an inferiority complex that he basically just assumes he's dumb.
Yeah.
Because he's been told it. But, like, he's very obviously smart. He just thinks he's remembering things, but it's like, well, that's a lot of intelligence is memory. Mm-hmm. It's like being able to draw on past knowledge.
But it's also his assumptions that, like, college kids and stuff must think that he's dumb.
Right.
He doesn't even give them a chance to give him a chance.
Yeah, exactly. And then I love when he approaches. I don't know why. He's holding that scythe. Like, why did he bring it with him?
He's like, just go over there and talk and smile and laugh.
He's just so nervous that he's got the scythe still with him.
He goes over there. He's like, y'all going camping?
I love the fucking crazy laugh.
And Chad kind of like busts out on him and does some like karate moves and stuff. He's like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm leaving. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Like, he's so like timid and stuff automatically. It just really clearly fleshes out, I think, all the characters within minutes whenever we get to that gas station scene. And also, too, I feel like that whole like gas station scene is an homage to 80 million different
gas station
horror
scenes.
movies.
Yeah, like Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah,
has the gas station scene. Yeah, and tons of them. If they're involving camping, a lot of them, they got that last stop before they get up to the cabin.
And this one is literally called The Last Chance gas station in the movie, you know? So it's very on the nose with that. And even like whenever they pull up, there's like this little Dust Bowl era looking kid like pumping water from like a pump, and he's wearing like overalls and stuff. That kind of reminded me of like
Have you driven through West
something.
Virginia? I assume.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's surprisingly.
It looks a lot like that.
I would not be surprised. Yeah, I remember riding through Morgantown, and it's like on the left, here's the West Virginia University campus. On the right, lean-tos.
Yeah.
Like, what?
West Virginia is wild and wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed it is. But even like the fact that there's this little Dust Bowl kid out there reminded me of like Pumpkinhead. Do you remember like at Ed Hardy's store, there's those little ashen dirt face Dust Bowl kids that do the Pumpkinhead rhyme and all that shit? It just reminded me of that. And this movie just continues on with, I think, the homages or tropes, if you want to call them that. Tucker and Dale have bought this cabin together, right?
Yeah. And this is something I totally fucking get. Where it's like, the kids see this cabin as creepy, but like, it's a big fucking deal for them. Like, they spent their money on this. They're going to be able to go out here and fish whenever they want. Like, the cabin doesn't have to look pretty. Yeah. They're just using it to sleep and clean fish.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah. So it may look creepy to some, but to rednecks, it's like, hell yeah. I mean, the lake's just over there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I needed it for.
I remember my grandfather, like, tons of times bringing home stuff that's just like, anybody else would say that's junk. And it's just like, no, man, put a little fucking elbow grease into it. That boat trailer works.
Yeah, totally.
Like, yeah, we would, get rid of all the rust, paint that thing up. Now you got a boat trailer. Like,
got something nice.
Rednecks tend to look at things that maybe aren't so nice and see potential in them.
I think so.
Yeah, instead of like, that's creepy. It's more like, man, I could live there.
That'd be nice. I agree, man. And they get to the cabin and it looks completely like the Evil Dead cabin.
Yeah.
Absolutely looks like the Evil Dead cabin.
Totally Evil Dead cabin, yeah.
And I love whenever they go up in there and they see like all the bones hanging up and stuff. And they're like, I think whoever lived here was some kind of a archaeologist. Just like, they don't realize that they're in a horror movie.
Right. Yeah, they have no idea.
And the college kids don't realize they're not in a horror movie. It's like everybody's assumptions about what's going on are all incorrect. They see all the newspaper clippings. He's a real news junkie, huh? Which I love. I love that stuff.
I love the simplest assumption.
Yeah.
Where like you
and
know
just that optimistic spin. Of
yeah,
like,
just that optimistic like trying to see the best in it. Like not imagining this is creepy, thinking like, well, why would somebody keep those things?
why'd I have
Probably
all
a
these bones?
news junkie.
Yeah.
Love that news.
And then they find like the chili dog thing. No expiration date.
Yeah,
It's so good, man. I seriously just love those two's chemistry that they have.
Yeah, they're really
on
good
screen
together.
together. Like they are fantastic. They're completely believable the entire time.
I forgot this. This is a possibly marijuana induced thought
Look
that I
out.
had.
That stuff will get you addicted. Be careful.
Yeah, Alan Tudyk was on Comedy Bang Bang not long ago,
Okay.
and I was listening to the episode, and I took off my headphones to get in the shower, and I was sitting in the shower, and I was
You don't
like,
listen to your headphones in the shower?
I don't. No,
What a
sir.
weirdo.
I know. And I started thinking like, Tudyk. Man, I bet that name sucked in school.
Old two dick over there.
Yeah, and then I was like, wait, but I bet Alan Tudyk's dad was like, hey, here's what you do, is you tell one kid, yeah, my cousin calls me Alan Tudyks, and then they'll spread it around and everybody will use it to make fun of you, but it's like, doesn't hurt, right? So he goes to school the next day and he's like, yeah, so my cousin calls me Alan Tudyks, and then somebody was like, Alan Pudick, and he was like, no, Two Dicks, it's Two Dicks.
Two dicks, please.
This was cracking me up in the shower. I was just imagining him vehemently being like, it's Two Dicks.
It's not Pooh Dick. Oh, man. I think you're right.
Yeah,
I
probably.
think you might be right about that.
Anyway, back to the movie.
And we start getting these college kids and stuff. They're out there, and they immediately get into another horror trope where they're all sitting around a fire, and Chad's like, "Let me tell you about this massacre that happened up here and stuff," which felt to me
The
very
Hillbilly Massacre.
Yeah, which felt very much to me like The Burning or numerous Friday the 13th movies,
Yes.
where everybody's sitting around and they have to
Gotta
tell
tell
a
the
scary
tale.
story. And I love the flashback of the massacre too. It kind of lets you know early on, like there's going to be some good gore and kills and stuff. There's some good
And
up
there
close.
definitely is.
I love when they do like scratches his neck with the saw blade.
Oh,
then
yeah.
he just throws it. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
So it kind of shows you that this isn't just going to be silly. Like there's going to be some good gore and stuff, which there are some good kills and everything in here too. We'll get to those as we go through. But again, it's just kind of like this whole series of different tropes all in a row.
Yeah, I mean, that's how a slasher is supposed to start. Like, I would say if you're writing a camp slasher and you don't deal with those things, you failed at writing a slasher.
You might be a redneck.
You might be a redneck. Even if you don't have to have those things, they have to be addressed at the very least. Like, you can't not include the expositional story scene. You can't not include somebody saying don't go up there. Like, if you don't have those things, you failed at writing a camp slasher. Now you may be writing a different genre and mixing something else, but you gotta have these things. So the fact that this movie hits all those points but also makes twists and jokes off of them, fucking nailed it. Way to go.
Yeah. I like too how even in that flashback scene, the two guys that are doing the killing kind of looks sort of like Tucker and Dale, especially the one guy looks a lot like Tucker. Just kind of shows the backs of their heads mostly, but it kind of like gets you in the mindset that this is what all of these kids are envisioning, is what these hillbilly killers look like. So whenever they see Tucker and Dale, it's like, oh my god, they look just like the people
that I imagine.
Yeah, it kind of draws you into where they're getting their fear of these guys from. And when we get to that like skinny dipping scene and stuff, that's where the misunderstandings really start. Because Tucker and Dale are just out there fishing, and they see Allison out on the rocks starting to take her clothes off and stuff. And dude, like Dale is like, I'm gonna avert my eyes, I can't look.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious and so sweet.
Yeah.
She, for the first of many times in the movie, falls and hits her head.
Yeah, she's always falling and hitting her head. Yeah.
I kind of worry about like her total concussion count by the end of this movie. It's probably rather high.
And that's why you got her the helmet.
Aww. And I love that they go in there and they rescue her, and they're really just trying to help. And they're like, "We've got your friend." But then the teenagers thinking they're in a horror
threatening.
movie. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly, because of the fact that it's coming from these backward hillbilly
college
types.
kids, we got your friend.
They're like, oh my god, they've got Allison. That's just kind of the thing, though, is like that's a completely non-threatening line. We've got
but
your
it
friend.
can be.
Yeah.
It can be.
And especially when
threatening.
you have assumptions about the person that's saying it.
Yeah.
It can suddenly take on a very threatening aura.
Yeah.
But the whole movie really thrives on these miscommunications and people assuming things about the other group of people and misinterpreting them. Whenever the kids decide to go and try to like get Allison back, they have the one dude charge forward at the house as Alan Tudyk has been like cutting that wood with the chainsaw, and he just happens to chainsaw into a log full of bees. And dude, I love that. To them, it looks like he just came out raging with this chainsaw. And dude, did you notice how he even completely aped the chainsaw dance?
Yeah, above the head.
At the very end of TCM, Leatherface does this like spin with the chainsaw. It's like a pirouette of death.
And then whoever played him in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 was like, "Oh, that's my thing."
All
so
the
he does
time
it
with this.
every single time. Yeah.
But dude, I just love that like they had Alan Tudyk do the spin with the chainsaw.
That was really cool.
And the kid thinks he's getting chased. And I love this whole scene here where the kid thinks he's getting chased by Tucker with the chainsaw.
Right.
And he accidentally impales himself on that huge pointy stick in the woods there. And it's like he has the realization dawn on him as he's dying.
That no one's chasing him.
Yeah. Like the bee lands on his face, doesn't even sting him, and just flies off. Yeah. It just tells him what I thought was a threat is completely not a threat.
Was a guy getting stung by bees.
Yeah, this guy was just running from bees. And I love, too, that leads to Tucker getting that face full of like bee stings and stuff, which makes him look more like a Hills Have Eyes, like mutant mongoloid hillbilly.
So now he's even scarier.
Yeah. And it also distorts the way he talks and stuff because his face is all swollen up. So it's just like it amplifies everything they're already thinking about him. And he goes back to the cabin and like pours that beer on his face. I love that.
I wonder if that helps. I feel like it doesn't, but
probably not.
Yeah.
No, probably not. And that's too, again, another little trope right there. Whenever Allison wakes up and she's like in the bed and stuff in the cabin, I kind of got a little bit of like a Misery.
Yeah, it was very much
vibe.
like Misery because he was standing there with the food when she wakes up, and really grounded perfectly in horror for a meta horror comedy type of thing.
Yeah,
and you mentioned this. This is before Cabin in the Woods,
right?
And we were trying to figure out like,
did it influence
what is this
or what?
playing off of, and what did it influence Drew Goddard in writing Cabin in the Woods? Like, horror comedies existed, of course, like Shaun of the Dead, but this isn't exactly in the same vein as Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead,
it's more like homage. Yeah. Because the thing is like movies like this and Cabin in the Woods and even The Final Girls, kind of play with the idea of like, what if people realized that they were in a slasher, which is very different than a Shaun of the Dead.
I mean, I guess Scream may be the source for it all, but Scream was like serious, not a comedy. But basically the idea of like, well, what if Scream was funny? Which is what Scary Movie was supposed to be, but failed at that.
I don't know if this like influenced Cabin in the Woods or anything like that necessarily, given the release dates were so close. But I think it was one of those things where I think enough of us just had that common shared thought of like, you know what we need? A movie about an asteroid hitting Earth. Deep Impact and what was the other one?
Armageddon.
Yeah. And a lot of these misunderstandings that we're talking about result in the movie's numerous kills, which before we get into, let's crack open this second rig
crack
here.
On into this beer.
I'm feeling like I need me a pull. Maybe it's because the characters of this movie drink so much co-beer.
They do. They drink awful lot. What, it's just a generic movie beer, right?
Well, here's the thing: is like at the very first of the movie, the beer that they're drinking kind of looks like I think like a Michelob can or something, but it just says beer on it.
Beer,
But then later on, they start drinking PBR and they drop it by name. There's an ice cold Pibber. Remember, he brings him one in the hospital.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like a mix of like, should it just be
generic beer or
PBR?
An actual beer?
Yeah, or an actual generic beer.
So this is an Angelica Hazy Orange IPA. And it's 5.5%, not too much alcohol in
also
it.
a Lord Hubbo.
But I'm interested in this. I mean, we just had the Citra hops. Doesn't say what type of hops. Oh, Angelica, I assume.
Oh, there you go. I really liked that first on that Hobo Life. That was really nice. It had a very good light soapy kind of finish to it. I noticed there too after I'd had a couple sips of it.
This had
I liked it a lot.
a very strong orange flavor or smell as soon as I opened it.
And that looks actually pretty similar to the last one.
Yeah.
It's got that light
hazy
orange juice appearance.
New England IPAs.
Which I'm very okay with.
Me too.
It does smell very orangey and
it's
kind of dank too.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Let's just
I'm
find
excited.
out. Let's find out about that right there.
Cheers.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling.
That's nice. That's it's a little milkshakey, I would say. It's got kind of that creamy orange flavor to it.
It does indeed have a little bit of that going on. Again, nice and lightly soapy to me.
Yeah.
But not in that like bitter kind of way.
No, it's not bitter.
But it's also, again, not terribly sweet.
Yeah, it's just, this has a little more sweetness than the last one, but still pretty dry.
Yeah, there's a lot of these like orange, like blood orange IPAs and stuff that you get that obviously are very sweetened and have like a lot of sugar and stuff in them, and I don't like that very much.
Not this. This is good.
Nicely dry, man. Man, Lord Hobo, they know what's going on.
They sure do. Thanks, RDM.
Thanks, RDM, for hooking us up with the Lord of all hobos. Delicious. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy that one right there. So there's some good gore and kills in this movie, and I think probably my favorite one has got to be when that kid jumps in the wood chipper.
It's the best.
It's so fucking good.
It's the funniest part of the movie for sure. Especially when he asks him if he's okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
After he's been like holding onto the legs and stuff, and there's just gore just flying out everywhere. He shuts it off. He's like, "Are you okay?
Are you okay?"
Oh, dude, it's so good. And again, to the kids watching, it looks like he's like pushing him into it.
Yeah, but he's actually trying to save him.
Just a total misunderstanding. It's so good. And then the cop shows up, and they're just like dragging these legs, which is great.
But the cop, he takes it in stride. I thought that was really funny. Instead of having him immediately like, all right, and get the guns out or whatever, he's just like, okay, let's find out what's going on here.
Yeah. And of course he dies because he hits that like loose board that comes down with all the nails.
Yes.
And that knocks him out. And I love, dude, again, Tucker's watching him. He like, the cop runs out of the cabin with his nail board sticking out of his head. And he's like, I think he's going to be all right. He's walking it off. He's walking it off. Again, the college kids are out there. They're just like, oh my God, they just killed the cop. Turns out, no, cop just hit this, this loose board. And then remember that college kid grabs the gun and like tries to shoot Tucker and Dale with it. And then Dale's like, you gotta take the safety off.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. Yeah. But then the kid turns the gun around and just shoots himself in the face.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh my God, dude. It totally reminded me of, is it in Planet Terror? Yeah, Planet Terror, where that kid just like shoots himself in the face out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. And it's like, what the fuck happened?
It's so good, man. Are there any other particular kills in this that stand out to you that you liked?
No, I'd say those are the big ones. The girl who smokes ending up on fire is like, the only reason she smokes is for that scene.
Totally.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Lights her cigarette off of the flaming gas cans. She lights it off of that and starts smoking, which is so hilarious. Dumb. That other chick gets like weed whacked.
Oh yeah.
And there's a good prosthetic they did on her too, where it looks like it's like shredded down to the bone. You just see it for a second, but it looks really
is all
good.
Practical, right?
I mean, the fake legs and stuff were all real.
Yeah.
And
nothing looks rubbery CGI or anything.
The bee was CG.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty inconsequential.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's really any of the gore effects.
I wonder if his burn. It looks like his burn is makeup.
Yeah.
It doesn't, because I mean, it's not an exceptional looking burn.
No.
It's just black. It's blacked out half his face, but it doesn't look fake though.
No, I don't think that's
cool.
And also the budget for this is pretty fucking low.
Yeah, $5 million. They almost made it back in the theater, but they've certainly made their money back in streaming because it's been on Netflix forever.
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever I watched it that first time, which was probably like 7 years ago now, it was streaming on Netflix. I think it's always streaming on Netflix. I think it's just always be there.
I mean, the second movie he made, Little Evil, is a Netflix original. So they probably just have him contracted.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And apparently with that gross of what the movie made, most of that's due to international. Apparently statewide, this only made like $230,000.
That sucks.
It made jack shit in the States. In the States.
But like international,
it made $4 something million.
Yeah, it's always weird when that happens. Like, and that usually has to do with the distribution company, because if you're distributing internationally, you may be going through the same distributor as you use in America, but a lot of times you're not. When you're working with smaller movies and independent stuff, you're going to be selling distribution rights all over the place, and maybe that distributor in Italy is really pushing the movie, but the person in America, not really. So
yeah. Now let me ask you, do you know, was the director of this Canadian, or was it just filmed in Canada?
It's just filmed in Canada. A lot of stuff's filmed up there.
It's not a Canadian movie.
No.
Huh. I was thinking that might have something to do with it, because there's a lot of things in, well, basically all mediums where it's like, if it's made in Canada, it just kind of lives in Canada.
Right. Yeah. Well, because Canada has like not only tax incentives, but like they help fund things that are made by Canadians in Canada.
Yeah.
So it's like there's state money going to it. But yeah, a lot of those things will remain in Canada. They don't want to search for distributors outside of Canada.
Do you know Canadian radio and stuff is all completely different too? Like, it's a regulation law in Canada that a certain percentage, I want to say it's either like 30% or 70% or something like that, of everything that's played has to be by Canadian artists.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's like a law.
Yeah,
that has to be that way.
I say that's cool, but honestly, that's terrible nationalistic bullshit.
I know, right?
I would hate if America was like that.
It's like Rush again.
Yeah, sweet. More Bryan Adams. All right.
Yeah, exactly. But they do get to listen to a lot of Big Wreck, which,
okay,
if you're listening to this, or if you're sitting across the table from me and you don't listen to Big Wreck,
I need to check it out.
You've been missing out on like one of the top 3 greatest rock bands of the past like 20 something years. They got started in like the early mid 90s, and they got kind of lumped in with some of the grunge bands and stuff. They had a few small hits and stuff then, and it just consistently put out the best fucking music. They are so goddamn great, and awesome people too. Very cool stuff. Right. Check out the record Albatross. That's the one you want to listen to. Whole record. So fucking good. But yeah, Canada, I just didn't know if this is one of those things that just sat in Canada because that's where it was made, but I guess not.
Yeah, I don't think the guy's Canadian, because Sally Field is American, right?
Far as I know.
Our Canadian listeners will know.
Yeah, they'll know. Chime in.
They'll be sitting there eating their poutine, watching hockey, drinking Molson or Labatt.
Greasing their mullets.
Oh, yeah, greasing their mullets up real nice. Having health care, all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All those dumb things they do over there. Health care.
Hell, who needs it?
What are you, sick or something? Hey, you got to ask yourself, what's the matter with a nation that has so much sickness that they got to have health care?
That's a good point.
Everybody
up there sick.
We see, in America, we don't have it because we're confident that we're all strong.
Yeah.
And we don't get sick because we're not weak.
Hey, sometimes up there, people have to wait like a month to see the doctor.
As opposed to just not going to a doctor like we do
As
here.
opposed to when I called my doctor and set up an appointment in a month.
Yeah, totally different. And they don't get to choose their doctors, unlike here, where you can only go to the doctors that your insurance company says you can.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Dude,
ain't good.
Okay, so I've been married to Emily for almost a decade now, and after grad school, after losing my grad school insurance, I went on to her insurance, and we've gone through a few different insurances. She works for hospitals, so they tend to be first better than any insurance I've ever had.
Sure.
But we've had a lot of different insurances, and she currently works for the University of Tennessee Medical Center, and I'll tell you what, the insurance isn't great in comparison to some that we had in LA, but the choice of doctors is fucking awesome. If you can choose a doctor at a research hospital, go for it. Because like, my doctor is so awesome. She knows everything, and she's so excited to talk about it because she's like teaching as well. So like, it's her life. It's the thing she thinks about all the time, and she likes doing it. I've never had this type of doctor.
Yeah.
I've mostly just had doctors who come in and barely look you in the eye, and especially because I'm a man, hardly ever talk about my health or fitness. I don't know why it is. Male doctors, when they talk to men, they just can't be like, what's the problem, and how can I help? They're just like, I assume everything's okay, right? I don't need to touch your dick, right? I'm not gonna have to touch your dick. Oh, please don't make me touch your dick.
But then at the same time, if you went to the doctor and your doctor's like, all right, whip it out. Wouldn't that be kind of weird too?
My current doctor.
Drop it out.
If she did it, it'd be really funny.
All right, Steven, roll that thing out.
Roll it out. That's a big assumption.
At that point, I would probably laugh a little bit and they'd be like, not much rolling going on.
My
here it is.
doctor has dropped the F-bomb a few times while I'm talking to her, and I love it.
Yeah, sure.
And it's so awesome.
It's like, you're a person. Cool.
Yeah, it's better than that cold distance shit. Yeah.
Dude, that's one of those things that I find more and more is like, I think more people are starting to drop the whole, I'm a professional, so I don't do human things like say bad words.
Yeah, it's weird.
I think more people are dropping that.
Yeah.
Like I've even noticed too, if I've got students that are, let's say in their early 20s or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying that I drop language around 6-year-olds or anything like that. But like if I have students that are late teens, early 20s and stuff like that, and I can tell they're like maybe a little uptight, and maybe even some of them are a little nervous because they've seen me on YouTube or whatever, that kind of thing. Dude, it's like the minute that you just start talking like a human being,
everybody's
it's like
more comfortable.
The shields drop, the defenses drop.
Yeah, I actually think that's why some people uphold that. They don't want you to be able to drop your defenses around them. They want you to always be on
maintain
your toes.
that distance.
Yeah.
Not me, man.
I'm not like that at all. No,
especially as a teacher, dude. Like,
yeah,
people that aren't nervous learn better.
Yes, that's true. I would always encourage my students to cuss.
Yeah, sure. I don't care.
I'd be like, just talk the way you normally talk. Like,
seriously,
when it comes to writing, take it out. But when we're talking in class, just say the way you would normally say it. I want to hear you talk and communicate.
Yeah, there's no reason to fake it just because we're in this room and I'm a teacher.
But I mean, with a lot of other teachers, there are reasons. Man, there's so many. I don't want to get off. We're already off on a tangent. But
this is the first time this has ever happened on this show.
There's just so many teachers that are so caught up in the power dynamic and wanting to exercise their power. I think it really, like, when somebody insists on being called by their title, I immediately just distrust them.
Please go piss up a rope, dude. Yeah, I will not call you doctor or professor.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's like the fact that you went to school for a few years, that completely defines your existence.
Right, I'm here to learn. I trust that you can teach me. We don't need the whole rigmarole. We don't need you to be Dr. So-and-so. What's your first name? Because you're going to respond to that, right?
Yeah, let me talk to you about it, Dawn.
Yeah, it's hard, though, because I taught freshmen. It is real hard for them to get out of the mindset. I still got Mr. Spratling a lot. It's Steven.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because they've been conditioned to it, from age 5 or 6 on. So.
It's not disrespectful. At least they weren't calling me motherfucker Spratling, which is my other title.
So one thing that I was going to ask you if you noticed is that while the teens in this initially seem like, again, just total cardboard cutout, ditzy, dippy teenagers and stuff, did you notice how, like, a lot of times through the movie, they're offering reasonable suggestions?
Yes.
Like, maybe we should call the cops and stuff like this.
Yeah,
it's always Chad that shuts him down.
Oh, yeah, Chad. Okay, so I actually want to talk about Chad because watching this made me think, like, wait, did they name him Chad because of the Chad meme?
Which came first, yeah.
So I started looking it up, and
Chad, as we all know, is just the prototypical douchey, entitled, rich white frat boy
with
the pops collars,
alpha male,
khaki shorts. Yeah,
Chad Thundercock. So apparently in Chicago during the 90s, Chad became a derogatory slang term for young, successful white men in their 20s and early 30s.
Okay. In what time period?
In the 90s.
That's
a
while back.
So it is pretty old. Urban Dictionary has an entry from June 1st, 2006.
Webster's Dictionary defines Chad
that's how they should change that. Everyone should get up and start a speech. Urban Dictionary defines a Cosby sweater as...
Okay, so what they have to say about a Chad?
So Chad is a guy who goes to the bar to pick up chicks, and that's I get that.
There's
definition.
A lot of Chads out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the Chad Thundercock meme came about on August 9th, 2013. So that was 3 years after this. So there was an idea. Chad was definitely used because it was connected to this idea of a douchebag. But it was a little before the meme.
It was before its time with its chattery.
Yeah, maybe it helped influence.
Could be, man. Now, Chad as a character is way over the top. Like, there's not really much hiding going on that he's crazy and kind of unhinged. And you could sit here and pick it apart and be like, why do these people hang out with Chad? Like, they all seem annoyed by Chad, bothered by Chad, and can pick up on his craziness.
Isn't that your 20s?
That's the thing, though.
In your 20s,
right?
you
Like,
all
really
have
matter.
that friend that it's like, why do we hang out with that person? And then, like, you stop hanging out with them, and then they're like, why do we hang out with all you people? And then you stop having friends for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Like we all have done.
We all have done.
And, you know, Chad, his entire thing, like we said, is that he has this past where his mom was, like, raped by this hillbilly and stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, you kind of get the impression that he has this chip on his shoulder about hillbillies because he thought, anyway, or maybe he knew the truth all along. I don't know
That
which
he's
is
half
true.
hillbilly.
Yeah, that hillbillies, like, killed his dad
He's
or
got
whatever.
them hillbilly genes.
Got them hillbilly genes. I love that reveal. You're half hillbilly.
You're half hillbilly.
Like, that's its own, like,
Yeah.
species. You know? Which I love. It's so funny, man. But, you know, the thing with Chad is that, like you said, ultimately, he's not really doing the killing or anything like that. I mean, he's unhinged and he's had a shitty life from what it sounds like.
In some way, he's responsible for all the deaths because he's the one who insists that they have to take care of this themselves and blah,
He
blah,
seems
blah.
to get this thrill whenever he finds out they're in a life and death situation with these hillbillies. I think he's just kind of like projecting his anger towards hillbillies as like, now's my time to get my revenge on them.
Yeah.
Even though, as they say during that discussion, it's like, I would have been like 6 years old when that happened. It
Yeah.
wasn't me.
Like,
I didn't have anything
yeah.
to do with that. Yeah, which is, again, dealing with like whenever you have maybe some group of people that you have notions or prejudices about.
Well, yeah, and this is
They didn't do shit to you, you know?
It's a very clear association to make with Southerners of, you know, slavery and the Civil War and stuff, to assume every Southerner is pro-slavery, pro-Civil War.
Sure.
Like, the assumption is there. So, yeah, to assume every hillbilly is in some way responsible for your mom's death. Like, yeah, there's a parallel there.
Mm-hmm.
I think like there's some bit of messaging in this. Don't just assume hillbillies are stupid, and don't just assume college kids wouldn't want to hang out with you or whatever.
Yeah, because we get that stuff later on
Yeah.
where Allison's like, I grew up on a farm. I've dug shitter holes before and
Yeah.
stuff. You know? And again, that showed you that it's not just the college kids that had these assumptions
Right,
that
yeah.
are misleading.
They
Tucker and
also had
Dale
their
also
assumptions.
had their own
Mhm.
prejudice against these college kids, too.
Yeah,
Everybody's got them carrying them around.
that's true. We all do. I mean, our brains, in some way, our brains are so amazing as they are because we learned to do things like group and assume and like project into the future and imagine how things play out. In a lot of ways, that is turned on us into just racism, sexism,
I was
all
going to
those
say,
things.
it's let us become assholes, which
Yeah.
is kind of an unforeseen consequence. It's
Yeah.
like, not helping anything, man. But, you know, I think it probably could have been an interesting thing if we saw that, I don't know, like there was more to Chad. Because, like, let's say
Yeah.
even towards the end, which is actually at the beginning of the movie, like, why does he attack those reporters?
That's a good question.
Like, they're not
Is it
hillbillies.
because he just learned his true hillbilly nature and he's embracing it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's, again, kind of a convoluted assumption you have to make for such a lighthearted and fun movie.
Yeah, it's just too much. Yeah.
You know? Like, I wonder if there was a way that they could have made this where, you know, Chad was this potential serial killer that was taking all these college kids up there to secretly off them all. And he sees these hillbillies and he's just like, oh my God, these hillbillies just killed John when he just killed John in the woods or whatever.
If he had been more responsible for the deaths, it would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also had a tweak I thought of that I think would have added more bite, more tooth to this.
Oh, some zazz.
Some zazz. Is if instead of Tucker and Dale being rednecks, they were black men. Just hanging out. They like fishing.
And the white college kids are just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. What are these black guys doing out in the woods? They must be murderers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then there's more to work with. With these actual natural divides. Natural divides. Nothing natural.
Yeah, no.
What am I saying? Like
Societal divides.
societal divides.
Divides that we've created.
Yeah. Because, like, honestly, college kids and rednecks aren't clashing much, really. I mean, I know rednecks that certainly have had kids go to college.
Yeah, it's fun to play around with those two dynamics in a horror movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, real life, not much rub there,
Yeah.
you know?
But, yeah,
I
if
see
they
what
had-
you mean, as far as like if it was all these upper, well-to-do, snobby white frat kids.
Assuming the worst of these two black men, and these two black men, of course, assuming the worst it might happen because these white kids have found them in the woods.
White kids want to kill us.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it could have had a little more tension, and also some more, because of more tension, you can have more laughs, because you can drop the tension with the laughs. It could have been interesting. Though
it could have. You have to handle that delicately.
Exactly. I was going to say, that could get bad.
Yeah.
And could lose all comedic value.
Totally, yeah. Well, and especially, too, like, telling that narrative as a white director,
exactly,
can get really iffy.
Yeah. So,
but at the same time, I think that there could be a movie that is similar to this that is told from that narrative.
Yeah, and I think it would be different enough for sure that people wouldn't just be like Tucker and Dale ripoff. Like, it could be different enough and also have more. Like, I don't know, like something Jordan Peele could surely do. I mean, he's able to throw comedy into Get Out and Us. Like, if he could pull that off, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that would be okay. Yeah, that could work as its own movie, I think. I think that one thing that I notice more about this movie is that whenever I think about it and I think about my general impressions of the movie and how funny it is and how likable the characters are and how simple the story is and stuff, I'm mainly thinking of the first, let's say, 2/3 of the movie.
Yeah.
I would say probably after the point where Chad cuts off Tucker's fingers.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, also some credit to Chad being a complete maniac. He does do that. He does tie up a guy and cut off his fingers.
Yeah, which is not normal.
Not usually. Yeah, not often. I haven't done that this week. So.
No.
But after that point in the movie, I do think things start getting a little bit more story-driven, a little bit more serious, and a little bit lower on the laughs.
Yeah,
it loses a little steam.
Loses a little bit of steam, yeah.
Like, there's laughs throughout the latter part of the movie, but most of the stuff that you think of when you think of this flick is in the first half. Yeah, half or 2/3.
Yeah.
Not that it drags.
It doesn't drag. I mean, it's not a long movie, honestly.
No, it's not. It doesn't overstay its welcome. I think it knew what it was trying to do. Yeah. And accomplished it pretty fucking well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the better horror comedies for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I really enjoy it, man. It's one that I don't see myself turning down watching again.
No,
anytime
why would
soon.
I? Yeah, it's funny.
I've seen it probably 4 or 5 times. Like, every time I watch it, there's always certain parts that just crack me up.
Yeah,
you know.
That's all I was doing in my notes, honestly, because there wasn't a lot to take notes on. It was mostly just writing down funny lines because it's just full of them.
A bunch of scenes of like funny misunderstandings and circumstances. With some really funny, well-written dialogue. But I think if the whole movie was a bunch of just like, C-listers, like a lot of the teenagers and stuff, it would have not been half the movie that it is.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Alan Tudyk and Tyler Labine certainly make the movie as funny as it is. Yeah,
definitely. Assuming that they do a sequel, will you be interested to see it?
Yeah, I'd watch the sequel. Why not?
I wonder where they can go with it.
Maybe next time they actually are in a horror movie.
Maybe,
but they just assume it's not, because last time it was a lack of communication, so they try to communicate with the thing and then find out, oh shit, we are being chased by a murderer.
Yeah, maybe it's that kind of thing. It's like, well, you remember last time it turned out the teenagers weren't really after us at all, blah, blah, blah. Then it turns out, no, this time that they're right.
Yeah, that could work.
That'd be okay. Yeah, because it seems like Chad would definitely be in it, as he's revealed at the first of the movie, to still be alive. So I assume that he's still going to be in there. We've had Dale seemingly kind of get over his inferiority complex.
Yeah, and he's now with Allie, so it would be one of those getting the band back together type of things, I imagine, where Tucker is going out and fishing on his own and hasn't talked to Dale in a long time, and then blah, 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 something happens, killer, etc. They get back together.
Sounds about right.
I may have just written the script for you.
Yeah, he might have. Trademark Dan Lilly.
If Eli Craig is listening right now, yeah, you know what? You can use that.
Yeah.
I imagine you didn't need the help.
You got any other final thoughts about this flick, Steve?
Not really. I mean, that's the thing. Like, taking notes on this was just like, this is a very uncomplicated movie that is about being funny. Yeah. And it works.
And it does it.
It does it. I would say something like, comparing this to Cabin in the Woods, I think Cabin in the Woods is a better movie. This is funnier.
Yeah, I would agree.
This may be funnier
than
Cabin in the Woods. But Cabin in the Woods has like good deep mythology to it. They really like cool all the story comes together. Yeah.
Less laughs.
But still laughs. I mean, the movie's still funny, but this movie's probably funnier. It leans more towards the comedy.
Yeah, I think so too.
For me, if I'm ranking this movie, it's probably an 8.
Yeah.
somewhere in there. Like,
Pretty fucking good.
It's pretty fucking good. All the complaints that we have, we've also waved away by saying like, yeah, but it's a comedy and it can be that.
Yeah, exactly.
So for me, yeah, it's like an 8.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right, man. I'm with you. Because, like, really, the storyline, not super complicated.
No.
Also didn't really need to be.
No.
The charm of the characters, the humor, the over-the-top accidental gore and kills and stuff, it's really enough to carry it for me. And that's accompanied by, I forgot to mention earlier, some cool soundtrack stuff. Like, a lot of the soundtrack things are very good, genuine, like, this would sound great in a real horror movie. Soundtrack stabs and stuff that I like a lot. And again, so much of that humor. Alan Tudyk is so fucking funny. I love when he wakes up in the hospital. He's like, they even managed to sew my fingers back on. He holds it up when it's like nail polish on. He's like, I don't remember that one looking that way though. He's just like so dry in his delivery. God, he's great, man. He's great. Yeah, I think you kind of like see Dale as sort of the more comedic dude in the movie.
Right.
But then you watch it again, you're like, nah, man, Tucker is fucking hilarious.
He's more the straight man.
Yeah.
But like, I think as I've gotten older, you start to realize the straight man is the funny one.
Yeah, that's the funny guy right there, for sure. Yeah, I'm with you. It's an enjoyable, fun, good-looking movie. The movie looks
still
great,
looks
too.
great, yeah.
Yes, and again, probably because it's not covered in crappy CGI
Exactly,
stuff,
yeah.
too. Holding up well. I'm going to say this thing's like an 8.5 for me.
All right.
I really enjoy
Sweet.
it. I wouldn't have minded if the story was like a little more complex. Like you said, if there was something more where like Chad was killing people and blaming it on the rednecks or whatever.
Right, like
that would have been okay.
Like if we weren't seeing their planning sessions.
Yeah.
Like we weren't seeing Chad say those things, and then we just get surprised by, why is that kid jumping in the wood chipper?
And the ending is honestly very, very convenient, where it's like they just happen to go to the sawmill and there just so happens to be a front page article with
Jangers leads them there. We haven't mentioned Jangers.
Yeah, Jangers.
There's a dog
man.
in this movie that doesn't die, and I love that.
I'll give it points for that, for not killing the fucking dog. And they just happen to find this newspaper that shows the main hillbilly guy that happens to look just like Chad. And they're also in the same room happens to be a box of chamomile tea, which Chad is allergic to.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot
There's a lot of convenience.
That's the room of requirement is what they stepped into right there. They unknowingly stepped into the room of requirement. It's like, oh, here's the answers about Chad and his weakness.
And the lost diadem of Rowena Ravenclaw. Right
How
there.
convenient.
Yeah. Fiend fire. Oh, no.
We got to get out of here. So I don't know. It's fun, slightly flawed, but I don't care. It's just a very enjoyable
Doesn't
flick,
bother.
man. Yeah, it doesn't need to be more than what it is. So it's one that I will watch for a lifetime on Netflix because it just kind of lives on Netflix now.
Special thanks to Tim Stone for submitting this into the Patreon drawing.
That's right. We do every now and then. We've not really set a time limit for it right now.
So
but
far we've done it
about
once
every
a month.
Yeah. We'll let our $5 and above level patrons submit a movie to be drawn out of a swan's ass. Mm-hmm. And we will determine which movie we'll watch based on that. So if you guys want to help us drive the car, point the show where you want it to go, just join that $5 or above Patreon level, submit a movie.
Hell yeah. You can catch us on Instagram and Twitter at Dead Lovely Pod.
Sure can.
We got a Facebook group, Dead and Lovely Horror Movie Podcast Group.
Sure do.
We have a Discord that I am slowly learning how to make fun. Apparently Discord is like fun.
Look out.
As far as I understood it, it was just AOL chat, but there's a lot more going on.
Oh.
Yeah, so
I gotta learn
look for
those
some
ways.
improvements in the future. Also, what else we got? YouTube channel. Go
That's
check out our
right. Go
YouTube
check out that
channel.
YouTube.
Go subscribe.
Just passed over 1,000 subs.
Finally got to 1,000 subs. We're going to be doing a whole lot of stuff in
The
upcoming
October,
months.
Yeah. We got Halloween's coming up.
Yeah. And I'm working on some stuff that will be coming out hopefully soon.
Now, Steve, next week on the show, we're going to be talking about one that I've wanted to do since we started the dang show. And it's one that you guys have had requested a lot. And it's coming out just in time to come out in tandem with a new, is it HBO?
No,
Shudder. Shudder series of the same name. We're going to be talking about motherfucking Creep Show.
Creep Show.
Which I'm so excited about. Such
Funny
a fun
story
movie.
about this.
Yeah?
Tim Stone submitted Creep Show as his movie, and I messaged him and I was like, hey Tim, would you mind submitting a different movie, because we're gonna go ahead and do Creep Show anyway this month. And then he submitted Tucker and Dale versus Evil. So Tim Stone kind of got 2 weeks in a row.
Holy cow.
Exactly what he wanted.
It's the month of Tim Stonery.
Hell yeah.
Lucky you. You deserve it. You're a good boy.
More like Stone Timber, am I right?
Yeah. Stone Timber. Yeah. So everybody say thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
As you've listened to this episode and the next one, Creep Show. Yeah, I look forward to talking about that one. We're going to be talking about it here in about, 30 minutes or so. Since we're doing a marathon doubleheader
Can't wait
today.
to see what happens.
Yeah, really. What have you been doing since last time?
I don't know.
I went to your kitchen. I peed.
Drink some water.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Probably about it. Well, in the meantime, you guys have been fantastic. We have been dead and lovely, and we'll be seeing you guys real soon talking about Creep Show. Catch you later, Gator. Bye. So now you've really got me wondering if whenever pirates sneeze, if they go, "Arr-choo!
Arr-choo, matey.
This has been Popsicle Stick Jokes with Uncle Ben.
And of course, they don't say bless you. They say, curses upon ye.
Yarr!
You've got the scurvy.
Do you think that whenever they went back on land, people were like, why are you talking that way?
That's why they called them landlubbers, because they were like, these motherfuckers don't even understand what we're saying.
No, they've lost it.
But we're speaking English, aren't we?
Speaking the Queens, arr!
Speaking the Queens.